There you go.
First, we're going to talk about the Game Awards.
Yeah, which, not to be confused with the even more prestigious Underpaid Gamer Awards, those are yet to come. Those are coming.
Those are on their way. So, I have a list now of everything that won every section of the awards.
Okay.
I don't have what they won over.
Mm-hmm.
But we can talk, and I'm not going to talk about all of them.
Yeah.
But we can talk about some. Best esports game, as we are fans of esports.
Yes.
Overwatch took that home.
I'm happy with that.
You agree? See, I don't know what the 2016, because some of these games came out in 2016,
right,
and some of these games did not come out in 2016.
They came out at like the end of 2015.
Yeah, I thought there was something on here that came out.
Like Best RPG?
Well, Best RPG is DLC for The Witcher.
Oh, I see it. Blood and Wine.
However, that got really good reviews, and it's like, people say it's like a whole other game. So, good for them.
Maybe it's worth it. Yeah.
I don't, does it open up a new location or something? I can't remember. I assume it does.
I don't know.
But I think the main winners of this is Overwatch and Uncharted.
Yeah,
but mostly Overwatch.
Yeah, I mean, Overwatch is all over the place. So let's just go through them real quick.
Yeah.
And we can talk about it as we go.
So best esports team, Cloud9. We know someone from Cloud9, not personally, but Mango.
Yeah, we love Mango.
We love Mango from Melee. Mm-hmm. Best esports player, not going to talk about it. I have no idea who he is, and I assume you don't.
I don't either.
Trending gamer is Boogie2988. Also don't know him.
I think I know who that is on YouTube. Yeah,
Most?
I like them.
Do you?
Yeah.
It's a really big guy.
Yeah, I actually have watched probably over 20 of his videos.
Wow. So he's entertaining? Is it the guy that...
Well, I guess I don't watch his, like, gaming episodes very often. I just, like, listen to his, like, life stories. Like, he kind of just talks about things that are happening in the gaming industry, and then sometimes things
we do that.
I don't know. It's like us, and he's, like, super nice guy, so okay. I like him.
I saw an interview with him, and he seemed really nice, so that's cool.
Yeah, he's, like, I think you would like his videos.
Most anticipated game, The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild.
I can understand
that. Do
that.
you agree? I know you can understand, but do you agree?
Well, anticipated game, like, how do you measure anticipation? That's
I said this is for 2017.
I mean...
So, I know that some games haven't been announced for 2017, but you might be able to expect them.
Right.
Spider-Man for PS4, I assume, is going to come late 2017 or early 2018.
Sure.
Another thing that was confirmed for 2017 is Horizon Zero Dawn, which is what I was going to say.
Yeah.
That's February. That's only a couple months away.
Right. That
would be on top of my anticipated list.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, you can expect a new Call of Duty. EA said they're taking a break from Battlefield for a couple of years, so not that.
Which I'm happy about. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Did EA make a good decision? Yes.
God of War is coming out, I think, 2017, although I don't know if that's confirmed. So, Zelda Breath of the Wild, this got most anticipated game, but again, I don't know if I agree, because it's a game coming out on the Wii U and also the Switch. Mass Effect Andromeda, they say it's coming out in March 2017, but that's hardly confirmed. And then again, the South Park Fractured But Whole.
Which I've heard is, like, I am so skeptical of those games, but I've only heard amazing things about them. So I might end up getting that.
Persona 5, 20. So there's a lot of games that, I mean, this is a contender, definitely. Yeah, right. Legend of Zelda is definitely a contender, but I don't know if it should have won this. But again, I think it's like fan voted, so there goes that. Another Overwatch one was best multiplayer. Agreed.
Dude, I love Overwatch's multiplayer.
Best sports and racing game was Forza Horizon 3.
I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't hate racing games.
Best family game was Pokemon Go. Whatever.
Sure.
Best strategy game was Civ 6.
You know, I want to buy it, but I still haven't yet.
I think that makes sense. Best fighting game was Street Fighter 5.
Yeah.
This one did not release complete with everything. I don't know if there's... I don't know. I'm not big... I'm into the fighting scene in Melee, but everything else is just kind of out there. So I don't really pay attention to anything like that. Some people are upset that Pokken didn't win this. Pokken Tournament.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of people play that.
Best action adventure game was Dishonored 2. This came out literally right before the awards, and I was honestly taken aback by this. I would think Uncharted would have won this hands down. Uncharted 4.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't played Dishonored 2, and I haven't played Uncharted 4 yet. So I need to play those games to really weigh in on this, but I don't know. I mean, you think Uncharted 4 deserves it?
I don't know. I think it can be contested. I think Uncharted 4 would have won more of these, and it didn't. Best action game. I don't know what the difference between action adventure and action game is, but Doom won best action game. I think Doom could have easily won best first person shooter. I don't think they have a reward for that though. So action game, I guess is what that means.
Yeah.
Best VR game is Res Infinite. Again, there's not a lot of competition there. There's like the big contender is PSVR.
Right.
Best mobile game, Pokemon Go, blah blah blah. Best indie game is Inside. They come from it's a sequel, not a sequel, but it's from the same company that made Limbo. I don't know if you played Limbo, the Black and White.
Yeah.
I've heard incredible things about Inside.
Yeah, I haven't played it
and
yet.
I would have liked to
check that out.
Mm-hmm. Games for impact. So this is the games that have like a specific cultural impact on things, so things that have a message. This one's about That Dragon Cancer. That one won. It's essentially about a father's journey with his son while his son has cancer and eventually, I guess, spoiler alert, dies.
Right. I mean, you could guess that.
Again, I haven't played that, but that was impactful. Best performance. So this is voice actor performance. Nolan North took this home for Nathan Drake in Uncharted 4.
Yeah.
I believe, from what I remember, other people nominated were the person that played Elena, the person that played Sam from Uncharted 4, both of those, and then also the two people from Firewatch, the man and the girl.
Yeah.
So Firewatch is essentially all about that dialogue, all about the voice actors. So I don't think that got snuffed. I definitely think Nolan North deserved that as Nathan Drake. I am also biased.
Yep.
Best music and sound design was Doom. Best art direction was Inside. Again, another one for Inside.
Yeah.
Best narrative, Uncharted 4, A Thief's End.
Yeah. Good story.
I thought so. You wouldn't know.
I wouldn't know.
Best game direction. So this is more about the company that made the game instead of the game itself. But I said Blizzard, which I can agree. It's hard to make good esports games in this day and age because so many things have already been out. Dota, League of Legends, Counter-Strike. 3 biggest ones, they've been all out for forever.
Yep.
Overwatch is kind of edging in there. Again, Melee's been out for 15 years.
Right.
So.
And it took a long time for Melee to feel legitimate, I think.
Yeah,
right?
Some people would argue that it's still not legitimate.
Right.
I think that's ridiculous.
I think it's ridiculous as well.
Game of the Year, Overwatch. It won the most awards. I don't think that directly goes into Game of the Year, directly influences Game of the Year. Yeah. I think I'm not upset that Overwatch won this.
I'm not either. I mean,
I think Uncharted would have been good. I think Uncharted's a good collection. People were saying that Inside should have won Game of the Year, that indie game, which would have been sick if an indie game won.
That would be sick.
So that's the Game Awards 2016. So that's fun.
Yeah.
I think more important to us personally is the PlayStation Experience Conference, PSX.
I think so as well.
You were out of town when this was happening, so you couldn't watch it.
I was in Washington, D.C.
I was at work, and I watched it.
Yeah.
The main presentation was about an hour, maybe a little bit over an hour. And then after that, they had panels. I
just remember you texting me and being like, Uncharted, or Last of Us 2, or something like that. And
Last of Us Part 2.
I was like, ugh. And I think it was like on the Metro in D.C.
The Metro.
That's what they call it, the Metro.
I think we need to have a discussion about that. I don't know if we want to do that first or last. It did show last on the thing, so let's do it chronologically if we can.
That's fine.
So do you have the list of games at PSX that was announced at PSX?
I have a list for PS4 games coming in 2016 and beyond, most of them coming from, or updated from PSX.
Okay, so
pretty much.
Maybe not a complete list. Let me see if I can remember. So the conference itself started with a cutscene of a new Uncharted DLC. So Uncharted is getting like 2 DLCs. I assume it's one package. There is a survival mode, so it's a competitive cooperative, or it's not competitive. It's a cooperative. From what I assume is wave-based, like defense mode. And then there's also story DLC, which now you take control of the character Chloe, not Zoe.
Chloe from
Uncharted 2 and a little bit of Uncharted 3. And also Nadine, who was another girl character from Uncharted 4.
Yeah, all I read was Mercenary Queen or something.
Yes.
Mercenary person.
Yep. So that was fun. That looked incredible. Again, like normal. I still haven't finished the DLC from The Last of Us, Left Behind, and I hear that's incredible.
Yeah.
So I really don't know how Naughty Dog does on DLC. They have a good track record. I just haven't experienced it.
Yeah. Cool.
There's a lot of other stuff after that. I'm just trying to remember it. They announced Knack 2. which is a game that me and my wife played cooperatively.
I remember you playing through that.
And we had fun with that. That didn't get very good reviews at the very beginning. I think there's frame rate issues and it made the PS4 crash. Again, it was a launch game. So Knack 2 might be better. They announced the Crash Bandicoot trilogy, like officially, and it's called the Insane Trilogy, in for Dr. Nitro or whatever he is. Crash Bandicoot, a PS classic. That'll be fun to play. I used to play it with my sister all the time.
Yeah, I looked at it and I thought, I hope this is like Ratchet and Clank, because
You never played Crash Bandicoot?
I had Crash Bandicoot Racing growing up, and that's the only one I had.
It's a linear game, so it's not like, Ratchet and Clank is linear, but it kind of has an open world feel to it, and you can shoot guns and stuff. In Crash Warped, you get a bazooka that shoots a big old piece of fruit. That's fun.
Nice.
However, Crash Bandicoot is a classic, and it's very fun, and they're good. They're just a lot of fun. There was a whole thing about Destiny called The Dawning, which is it's not DLC or anything, it's just kind of an event that's happening in Destiny. And at first I'm like, this is weird that they announced this at PSX, but at the same time, it's not the first time they announced it. But also, Destiny has a partnership with PlayStation. And Destiny is still, like, this shows that Destiny is such a big game that this isn't DLC. This isn't a new game. This is just an event that's happening in a game that's on PlayStation.
Yeah.
And it got screen time at PSX.
Yeah.
That shows how big and how committed people are to playing Destiny.
And Sony's commitment to Destiny still.
So, good for Destiny.
Yeah.
There is, what else can I remember? There's a lot of VR stuff. I don't have VR. There's a lot of Vita stuff. I don't have a Vita. They did show a new trailer for Horizon Zero Dawn, which I am very excited for. That's one of my most anticipated games of 2017. A few days before, Insomniac stated that there wasn't going to be any Spider-Man trailers or anything there. Go back up. There wasn't going to be any Spider-Man trailers or any news there, and they held to that. There was no mention of Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Which makes me think that it's probably not going to come out in 2017. They said they'll have a lot of information in 2017, but I'm starting to think I'm going to see it quarter one of 2018. So Horizon Zero Dawn is coming out February 28th, 2017. I expect Spider-Man to come out February 28th-ish of 2018.
So like a year
because that's a good spot. There's not a lot of competition there.
Right.
So Uncharted came out in the spring. Not a lot of competition there. In the winter, quarter one, there's not a lot of competition. Fall is when you have all the competition.
Oh yeah, you don't want to be in fall.
I don't know how Spider-Man will stack up against all those other things. They did announce, the second game they announced was actually Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite.
There you go.
And they also announced that Marvel vs. Capcom 3 is like available when they announced it on the PlayStation Store. So Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite, from what I understand, they're going to... That's just the basis of the game now. They're going to add characters and add DLC to that, and they're not going to come out with another game. That's just going to be it. And they add things and add things and add things. Nier Automata, I have no idea what that is.
I've heard some good... So this is like one of those niche games.
Square Enix game.
There's one before this that only printed like so many copies of it.
Yeah.
And apparently like people who are really into...
They collect it?
Like JRPGs. Like this is one of those ones that people actually like collect and they want. Because of its low numbers. And
I collect Melee.
A lot of fun.
I have 2 Melee discs. I mean, you have one of mine.
Yeah.
Ni no Kuni 2, another fan favorite, was announced. Shown there. They did show... This was at the Game Awards. They showed another trailer for Death Stranding.
Yes.
Not at PSX. So there was a very interesting thing about Death Stranding. Parappa the Rapper remaster was announced as well as Patapon and something else I can't remember. But back to Death Stranding, there's a new trailer. Nobody really knows what this game is about. However, somebody did find out that if you play both trailers at the same time, in the first trailer with Norman Reedus, he's holding a baby, and at second 120, the baby disappears. So at 1 minute and 20 seconds, the baby disappears.
And that's
on the second trailer,
oh my gosh,
on 121, the baby appears when the guy's like changes, like he has that shell.
Plugs in the oh my god,
the same baby appears.
What?
So they played it together. So it's just a little fun thing there.
Yeah, I also heard ramblings that the baby doll is like a mini little baby snake, because if you noticed, it had a big spike out of its temple, and then one of its eyes was down, so the eye patch.
Oh, that's funny.
And so people were saying that it's like a little
homage.
Yeah, a little homage to Snake.
So this would probably be a horror game. Hideo Kojima worked on Silent Hill PT, which is one of the best horror games recently.
Yeah.
I'm talking about Resident Evil 7 Biohazard. There's a demo there.
Yeah, and there's just more news about Resident Evil 7 being kind of like a reset for the series, moving away from what they've been doing with gung-ho like heroes and like an ultimate villain in the back who's like manipulating everything.
So it's just like horror.
It's more of like a horror survival game and less all the complicated storyline stuff that usually accompanies Resident Evil.
Well, it also can be all played in VR.
Yeah, which
so this is the
really scary.
This is the first Resident Evil that's in first person, correct?
Yeah. Yeah, and every other one was third person.
Yeah.
And they like the control scheme was like a really controversial thing for all the games, and now they're changing it.
So there's that. Some other things I'm trying to think of. Again, we talked about the Uncharted DLC. We're going through a list right now. I can't remember. Windjammers is like a frisbee volleyball game that they announced that not a lot of people, as far as I know, a lot of people are asking for, but it's there. They also announced Wipeout Trilogy Collection. Oh yeah, right there. Omega Collection.
Yeah. There's a game called Yakuza Kiwami.
I don't know.
It's a Yakuza series. It's one of those series that's been in Japan for a long time. That's never made it to U.S. shores without buying a really old copy of an old game. Like they hasn't been one for PS4 at least.
Yakuza.
Yeah, and it's kind of like Mafia, but it's Yakuza, which is the Japanese mafia essentially in the 80s, set in the 80s. I've heard good things about it, never played it, but some people are excited about that it's coming.
There's a lot of I don't know
games.
if you call. I guess you could call them indie games. Some remasters, some other stuff. Again, the Insane Trilogy for Crash Bandicoot is 3. There's some remade things.
Yeah.
But I guess the real star of the show happened at the very end.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
The Last of Us Part 2.
Part 2.
Which is technically a sequel, but not called The Last of Us 2.
Right.
It's a continuation of the
story.
first story. Now, before we get into it, before we talk about the trailer at all,
Yeah.
I think we need to talk about the ramifications of having a sequel to The Last of Us. What does that mean for the ending of The Last of Us 1? The first, the point I'm trying to make is, or the point that I see is, the first ending was so ambiguous.
It was very...
You didn't really know, like, obviously, spoiler alert, for The Last of Us.
Which has been out forever.
Dummy, why have you not played that game yet?
Yeah.
Joel lies to Ellie at the very end. And it kind of ends on a cliff note. It ends on a cliffhanger, and you're like, what does this mean for their future?
Right.
Now this game clearly has to address this. So how do they respond to that? How do they?
Yeah, I don't know, and I think.
And does that just in general having something past that does that affect the ending of the first game?
Yeah, I was reading some articles about this in my free time, and I read that Naughty Dog actually had a hard time coming up with a story that would be worthwhile for a second part of this game, and it almost got scrapped, actually.
Yeah.
Like, the whole project almost got scrapped, because they just didn't feel like they could live up to the first one.
Yeah.
With the second one, and they didn't want to do the series any shame by releasing, like, a subpar game, or at least one with a bad story.
Yeah.
I think that we will get a little bit of an understanding of what the ending actually meant.
To them.
To the characters.
Will we even get an answer to that literally in the trailer?
I don't think we will in the trailer, and I also don't know...
No, in the trailer we did.
Oh, did we?
Because they're still together.
Right. We know they're still together. That much is true. Right? They went... I mean, the way it sounded at the end of The Last of Us, so they were going back to his brother's house, or his brother's community, to live with them after they escaped from
I didn't get that at all.
That's what
Wait, no, you're talking about The Last of Us 1.
The Last of Us 1.
Oh, I'm talking about the trailer for The Last of Us 2.
So the end of that... So I'm guessing what's happened is this is my interpretation of the trailer, if I can just jump into it.
Okay.
They... Obviously, Ellie's older, which she looks awesome.
How old do you think she's, like, mid to late 20s?
Yeah.
So this is
a
10,
considerable
15
amount
years,
of... Yeah.
10, 15 years later?
Like, I think Joel is, like, in his late 50s or early 60s.
I mean, you can't really see him, but based on his age in the beginning.
Yeah, that would be my guess.
Yeah.
And my guess is that there somehow... like they went back there or something. Things got bad. They had to leave
to Tommy's place.
I think they had to leave for some reason, and they're dealing with the ramifications of why they had to leave. And I think that's this group of people who may have been the ones who forcing them to leave. I think there's going to be some pretty crazy stuff because who is she referencing when she says, "I'm going to kill all of them"? Is she talking about the Fireflies? I mean, that's the obvious answer, I think.
Maybe. Someone did put a side-by-side image on the first game. Mm-hmm. Her eyes are kind of filled with hope, and they put hope under young Ellie. Mm-hmm. In the second game, they put hate under the old one, and you can see the differences between them.
Oh my gosh!
But if we want to analyze the trailer itself from maybe a film perspective, they don't start together. Ellie is in the house.
Right.
There's all these people dead around her that we can assume she killed. Mm-hmm. Joel walks in from the outside and says, "Hey, kiddo, what's going on?" From that little aspect, I could almost interpret that they're not going to be together for the whole game. Or that they're going to be separated. That maybe Ellie's going to be on... I mean, obviously in the first one, Ellie's on her own for that whole winter. Mm-hmm.
Which was fun.
But I think for this one itself, I wouldn't be surprised if Ellie's just on her own for the most part. Joel's getting old.
Yeah.
It'll be a little sad to not have Joel around. I love Joel.
Right.
I also think it's very possible that he'll die in this.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. I mean, he's old.
Yeah.
I mean, if not from old age or sickness or something.
I think if there's a game where the main character can die, it'll be The Last of Us series.
Part 2. Yeah.
Uncharted, you would never expect
Drake
to die
it's too
or
happy,
anything like that. But this one is darker.
Yeah, and
there was a panel with Neil Druckmann, who was the director behind this and Naughty Dog, right after PSX.
Yeah.
There were some things announced that we'll go over. Bruce Straley, who is co-director of Naughty Dog, has worked on with Neil. They're kind of a duo. Mm-hmm. They worked on The Last of Us and they worked on Uncharted. He has taken a sabbatical from this. He's not going to work on The Last of Us 2.
Really?
Yeah. Instead, Neil is working with I don't remember her last name. Her first name is Haley. She is a writer for Westworld.
Oh wow!
As well as some other shows that I can't remember. So Neil Druckmann again is a writer, a producer. He's done all but Uncharted 3. Mm-hmm. He's done The Last of Us. He's written his own book. I think I've talked about this before, either on a video or on the podcast himself. Mm-hmm. He's very experienced. He's kind of the heart behind Naughty Dog.
Yeah.
Haley is also an accomplished writer. She can do in-depth storylines. Again, Westworld is a good example.
It's very complex.
There's also other shows that is on her Twitter bio that I can't remember at all.
Yeah.
So out with Bruce Straley, who was a cornerstone of Naughty Dog, in with kind of a new fresh blood. So we'll see what happens there. Neil Druckmann also said that the story on this is going to be very intense.
Yeah, I mean, as I got from the trailer.
But from the way that he worded his tweet, it seemed like it was more intense than Last of Us Part 1.
Well, I mean, The Last of Us had a lot of beautiful moments, I think, of realization of Ellie and Joel's relationship.
Yes.
Where you see Joel slowly come to love this girl like she's his daughter.
But that goes to the ending again, where Ellie's so afraid of somebody lying to her. Mm-hmm. And at the very end, that's exactly what Joel does. So how does that impact the relationship in part 2?
Yeah.
Maybe to the fact that they find out that...
Does she even know that he lied at this point?
I mean, maybe. I assume there's still Firefly people that... I mean, he killed the doctor and he killed...
the leader.
The only people that knew, I guess. Right. But at the same time, if we analyze the trailer from what we saw, Joel walks in from... far off, off screen, and he says, "Hey, kiddo," whatever. As a loving father would do,
right.
Maybe somewhat of the prodigal son. Mm-hmm. I haven't seen you in a while. I still love you. I'm going to treat you just as normal. Right. But maybe Ellie isn't ready for that,
right?
Because I don't remember. I'll have to analyze, I guess, what they said specifically. But she doesn't say, "Yeah, come on. We are going to kill all of them." She said, "I'm going to kill all of them." Yeah. She's kind of a lone wolf.
I mean, I do get the feeling that Ellie will obviously be the main character of this game.
That's big confirmed.
Yeah.
On the panel.
There's no way Joel's going to be the main character. That makes perfect sense. And she's an adult character now, so it makes sense, I think. And I think it's fine. I'm glad that...
If they didn't show... I was thinking, if they didn't show Joel in the trailer, I would have thought that the roles would have been switched. Ellie would be the main character, and much like The Last of Us 1, Joel would be running around behind cover and being annoying, but he would be in a wheelchair just because he's old, so he'd be wheeling around and
or on a crutch or something.
People wouldn't see him. but he can clearly walk, at least in this trailer.
So, I don't know. I'm excited to see what it all means. And I just, like, really loved the way they did the trailer with the guitar playing and her singing a song.
Oh my gosh, was that not...
It was beautiful.
Did that not look incredible? Just like...
It looked amazing. Like, the facial, like the... You see the emotion. Like,
well, I thought it was Joel playing the guitar. Like, I couldn't tell it was feminine hands.
The hands were amazing.
Yeah.
Holy cow.
And then they had, like, the strings, like, actually move.
Yeah, I was very impressed.
Incredible. I don't know, it's so weird that they started this press conference with a Naughty Dog trailer and ended the press conference with a Naughty Dog trailer. It's just like, maybe that's too much Naughty Dog. Now, maybe it could be even said more that if they did 2 Naughty Dogs, like, back-to-back in the middle, that would be like, okay, that's, like, the Naughty Dog section.
Right.
But, I mean, if you're the powerhouse of Sony, why not encourage that?
Dude, The Last of Us, man. The Last of Us!
I know. But at the same time...
Like, how many Game of the Year awards did it win that year?
What does...
So many.
It didn't... Remember, we went through...
It was
Game Informer didn't give a Game of the Year.
I was so mad. They gave it to GTA 5, I think.
Yeah, something stupid
Which
like
was a good game, from what I've heard.
But again, is there... So everyone wants... Maybe not everybody, but a sequel to this game, sequel to a critically acclaimed game that was incredible, that I think they can do well, is wanted, but at the same time, it's wanted for, like, the gameplay and just to go back and experience that world. But at the same time, what does that mean, and how does that affect the first game?
Well, I mean, I feel like the first game's already set up its legacy, and I don't think this game will necessarily tarnish it. I think if it fails, it could be one of those things where if someone hasn't played the series before, like in the future, they say, just play the first one. Like, there are book series that I've read before where people said, just don't read that one. And I didn't, because I trusted them.
I don't know, but the canon of The Last of Us is just so good. It would just be hard. I
just hope it doesn't flop, because, like, I would rather them not release a game than release a bad one.
Yeah.
Or even a mediocre one. With how high I put The Last of Us on my list of games, which is on the number 1 spot. Like, I don't want...
You want The Last of Us 2 to be in the number 1 spot now? Or you want The Last of Us 2 to be number 2?
I want them to be side by side, which is high expectations. Yeah. But I just love the series. Like, I guess I have to call it series now, right? I love The Last of Us so much that I hope... Which, it's Naughty Dog. I think they're a good producer. I just hope that it lives up to... At least... I hope that it's at least... better than mediocre. Like, I hope it's good. Like, really good.
Better than good.
I want
it better than great. You want a perfect game.
I don't want
not that The Last of Us is perfect.
The Last of Us is not a perfect.
But if there is going to be a game that is perfect, it would be The Last of Us.
I want it to be perfect.
Like, if we're going to grade on a curve, The Last of Us set the curve, right?
Right. It set the curve. As in, it's perfect for me. Like, that is exactly what I want out of that type of game.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I want another example of that.
That'll be fun. I don't know. They obviously know that there's a big weight on their shoulders. I mean, they delivered with Uncharted 4.
I'm sure they did. Not that I know.
I don't know. It would just be interesting to see. I did not expect to see this at all.
Yeah. I'm a little bit... My reaction, too, was I wish that they would have waited till, like, 6 months before, because I'm going to hate waiting for this game.
Just your little heart can't take it.
My heart can't take it anymore.
I don't know. I don't think this... I mean, Twitter and everything blew up for the next couple days after this, and everything was Last of Us 2.
Yeah.
And I assume there'll be some information that goes out a little bit.
They'll trickle it.
But I think eventually this will just kind of... I mean, this game won't come out until, like, 2019.
Like... The website I just read listed as 2017. Mm-hmm. I don't think that's even possible.
That's not possible.
I mean, very earliest rushed game, December 2017. But I don't even think that's possible.
No, they just got done working on Uncharted. I mean, there's 2 teams in Naughty Dog.
Right.
And the same people, there's people that tie over, work on Last of Us, and also work on Uncharted. Mm-hmm. So they just announced the Uncharted DLC, and that's going to come out sometime. I don't know when the date is.
So you got to finish that.
So it's got to finish it.
They're at least not at full manpower for The Last of Us until Uncharted DLC's done.
So we'll see. Excited, I guess, for The Last of Us.
Are you? I can't tell.
We have to get closer. I'm definitely going to play it, obviously. I'm definitely going to pay full price for it, and it'll be one of those $60 games that's worth $80.
I hope so.
If they charge $80 for it, I'll be like, yeah, I'll get it. I'll buy it. I mean, I bought The Last of Us twice. PS3 and PS4.
Yeah, me too.
And I also love Naughty Dog. It's one of my favorite developers. I have a lot of faith in them.
Right.
So maybe I'm a fanboy. I don't know. But
we all have our fanboy syndromes.
So essentially, if I missed your favorite game for PSX, I'm sorry. There's a lot that went on. I was also at work when I watched it, and I haven't gone back and watched it. However, the presentation, if the presentation was like an hour and a half long, there was like an hour and 10 minutes of just presenting games. So maybe 20 minutes of just people talking about games.
That's awesome.
But everything else was like...
That's a lot of hype.
Yeah. So...
a lot of games.
Definitely watch it. Super fun.
Yeah.
And I think that concludes us for today.
Yeah. So
thanks for listening.
Yeah, thanks,
if you want to talk to us...
join the conversation.
If you want to tell me what game I forgot from PSX, you can tweet us at UP Gamers Podcast. You can comment right now on SoundCloud. You can leave a review on iTunes. While you're there, give us a rating.
Yes, please.
I don't know how this works on Google Play.
Click us 5 stars.
Click us 5 stars, I guess.
And write a good review.
You can always email us at underpaidgamerspodcast@gmail.com. That's on all of our things. You can just copy and paste it.
Do it.
This will go up on YouTube. You can leave a YouTube comment.
Go on our website, underpaidgamers.com. Leave a comment if you want. And subscribe to the blog if you'd like.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Sometimes we post things outside of just the podcast episodes.
Yep.
And you get to see our show notes, which are very large this time.
Yes. There was not a lot of not a lot of stuff I needed to review.
Yeah, there wasn't a whole lot of news. You'll see some weeks we have like huge, extensive notes, and then some weeks we have a few notes.
Well, also my Pokemon notes were handwritten,
paper.
So we'll photocopy that in.
We'll tweet it out.
That's not gonna happen.
No.
You have to tweet out your Final Fantasy card though.
Oh yeah.
Anyway, thanks for listening.
Yep.
You'll see us again next week. It is December. It's early December. The Underpaid Gamers Awards will come out before January. So we have 3 weeks to do it.
Yeah. The list has already been started.
We have one thing on it.
Shh. They didn't need to know.
You didn't hear that. You didn't see anything.
There's one it's already given, but I don't want to say it because I want to wait.
Okay.
Cool. Well,
anyway,
thanks guys. See you later.
We'll see ya.